Have you ever heard of a country declaring war on birds? And what if I told you the birds won? It sounds like a joke. But in 1932, Australia did exactly that. And it led to one of the most bizarre and hilarious chapters in military history, the Great Emu War. So, how did we get here? Picture this, it's post-World War I Australia. The government encouraged thousands of veterans to become farmers in Western Australia, promising them a new life on the land. But this land wasn't exactly paradise. It was marginal, tough to farm, and to make matters worse, it was also the prime migration route for about 20,000 emus. After their breeding season, these giant, flightless birds started migrating towards the coast, looking for food and water. And what did they find? Beautiful, irrigated wheat fields, lovingly tended by our veteran farmers. For the emus, it was an all-you-can-eat buffet. They trampled crops, broke down fences, and ate everything in sight. The farmers were desperate. Their livelihoods were being destroyed by an army of feathered invaders. They pleaded with the government for help. A delegation of ex-soldiers went to the Minister of Defense, Sir George Pearce. Now, you might expect the government to offer subsidies or better fencing. But Sir George had a more direct idea. He thought, we have machine guns. Emus are big targets. Let's send in the military. It seemed like a perfect solution. It would solve the emu problem, provide some much-needed target practice for the troops, and be great PR. What could possibly go wrong? So, in October 1932, the war was officially declared. The Royal Australian Artillery, under the command of Major G.P.W. Meredith, was deployed to the front lines. Their arsenal, Toulouse machine guns, and 10,000 rounds of ammunition. Their enemy, 20,000 emus. On paper, this was a guaranteed victory. A swift, decisive win for humanity. The first engagement took place on November 2nd. The soldiers spotted a flock of about 50 emus. They set up their machine gun, took careful aim, and waited for the perfect moment. But as soon as they opened fire, the emus scattered. They didn't just run away in a panic. They split into smaller groups and ran in every direction, making them incredibly difficult targets. The soldiers fired round after round, but only managed to take down a handful of birds. The rest just vanished into the bush. Major Meredith was stunned. He noted in his report that the emus seemed to have an almost uncanny ability to withstand bullets. A couple of days later, the army tried a new tactic, an ambush. They found 1,000 emus near a local dam. This was it, the perfect trap. They set up the machine gun, hidden and ready. But as the emus approached, the gun jammed. By the time they fixed it, the birds were already on the move. The gunners opened fire again, but the emus, moving at speeds up to 50 kilometers per hour, were just too fast and erratic. After firing hundreds of rounds, they had killed a grand total of 12 emus. 12. Major Meredith was starting to get frustrated. He described the emus as having the resilience of a tank. He wrote, "If we had a military division with the bullet-carrying capacity of these birds, it would face any army in the world. They can face machine guns with the invulnerability of tanks." The press started catching on to this bizarre conflict. The headlines were merciless. Emus 1, Australian Army 0. The whole operation was becoming a national embarrassment. The soldiers were trying everything. They mounted a Lewis gun on a truck to chase the emus down. It sounds like a scene from a cartoon, and it pretty much was. The truck bounced wildly over the rough terrain, making it impossible to aim. The gunner couldn't get a clear shot, and they didn't hit a single emu. To add insult to injury, one emu got tangled in the truck's steering gear, causing it to crash into a fence. After about a week of this farce, the first phase of the war was called off. The military had used nearly 2,500 rounds of ammunition to kill, at best, a few hundred emus. It was a complete and utter failure. Major Meredith and his men withdrew in defeat. But the emu problem didn't go away. The farmers, facing even more crop damage, begged the government to try again. So, just a few days later, the military was sent back in. This time, They were a little more successful, but not by much. Over the next month, they managed to kill just under 1,000 Emus using almost 10,000 rounds of ammo. The numbers just didn't add up. It took over 10 bullets to kill a single emu. It was an expensive, inefficient, and frankly, ridiculous exercise. By early December, the public and politicians had had enough. The media had a field day, and an ornithologist, Dr. Dominic Cervanti, commented that the military's attempt to kill the emus was a joke. The whole campaign was officially and finally abandoned. The Great Emu War was over, and the emus had won. So, how did they do it? How did a bunch of birds defeat a modern military force? First, the emus were masters of guerrilla warfare, even if they didn't know it. They never gathered in one large, easy-to-target group. Instead, they operated in small, decentralized cells. As soon as a threat appeared, a leader would give a call, and the entire flock would scatter in all directions. It was chaos, but it was effective chaos. Second, they were incredibly resilient. Emus have thick feathers and tough skin, and they could apparently take multiple hits from machine gun fire and just keep running. Their speed and erratic movements made them nearly impossible targets for the cumbersome Lewis guns of the era. In the end, the government realized that military force wasn't the answer. They instead offered a bounty system, which proved to be far more effective. In just 6 months, hunters claimed over 57,000 bounties. Later, the introduction of stronger, emu-proof fencing provided a more permanent solution to protect the crops. The Great Emu War remains a legendary, almost mythical event in Australian history. It's a hilarious story about underestimating your opponent and a powerful reminder that sometimes the simplest, most low-tech solution is the best one. The soldiers who fought were brave men, but they were sent on an impossible and absurd mission. Today, there's even a monument of sorts to the Emus victory. In the town of Campion, where the first battle took place, the memory of the war lives on. It serves as a quirky footnote in history, a tale of men versus nature where nature, in the form of 20,000 very stubborn emus, came out on top. So next time you see an emu, give it a little nod of respect. You're looking at the descendants of undefeated warriors, the victors of the Great Emu War. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this weird piece of history, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next story. See you next time.